Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and discuss and share great online info they find offline. People are listening to hours of podcasts and YouTube videos, and yet, in a gender-neutral way, acting too rude and sketchy to talk or respect each other enough to want to, and then, that makes it tough to. And then just going more and more online, when offline, especially locally, if people can take all the great things they know, they can be nice, helpful people improving where they live. So check out manforwars.com, support the manforwars.com efforts. There's PayPal and direct deposit donation links below. Most important thing for me is to get the money, power, and respect I need to make this a significant issue in Toronto and in Canada and in other parts of the world, because I don't know anybody else who's working on these issues. People don't like it. People don't want to talk about it. And so I often don't. But again, it's awful, like communism that nobody liked and nobody wants to talk about, that killed millions of people. I don't want this sort of thing to take us out either. So I found ways to work around that. Check out manforwars.com for more. And support the Man for Wars efforts. See the links below or there. But this video is called NBA, Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet has a beautiful family you'd love, kill, or die for. And the attacks on gender and gender confusion, nothing against anybody that wants to do something different, but if most people straight are great at it, then others LGBTQ, whatever they want to do, can also be good at being nice people. Nice people who can respect each other just like most people do, and make it easy to mind your business or look at each other or look attractive or be looked at or look at someone attractive or know you don't worry about what you do, so you don't worry about what you say, and then communicate well and talk and listen to each other, because you feel like it. So if most people straight are great at it, then others LGBT whatever can also be great at it. And there's attacks on that, on gender and on the family. On men, you're not supposed to act like men, but men who act like women often just turn into crappy versions of women because there's no manners or standards. There's no nice, attractive girl to default to. So it's just the same kind of rude, ugly girl, right? And men, if they make other people sort of put up with and act like them, then everyone's a rude, ugly girl. And women supposed to act like men, not supposed to act like women. Same thing. They get all screwed up, and we don't like that, right? As a man, if I'm straight up, other guys are cool, straight up with me, know we respect each other, can mind our business, look at each other comfortably or talk to each other comfortably. Women, confident, masculine strength. Men want to feel strong and useful. Women want to feel safe and special. So I'm always, oh, don't worry, just don't want to make sure you're okay. And then the girls goes, really? Okay, then you're worth sharing with. Sharing some attractive grace and femininity. Not the worst version of her, but if not the best version of her, at least a good version of her that a good guy deserves. And then kids can copy that and they can grow up. And then other people that want to switch, if you do want to switch, no kids stuff, and I can get into that more. You can check out manforwars.com for more. But grown-ups who want to switch can switch comfortably, because you can be like, well, I'm a man that wants to act like a woman now, but I want to do it well, because there's other men and women who do it well. I can do it well. Or a woman that wants to be a man, she can, she or turning into a he can do it well. But if we're all encouraged not to do it well, then even people who want to switch have trouble. So as part of that, there's an attack on the family, and there's a bunch of reasons for the attacks on the family and so on. There's some bad people that want to divide and conquer and control us. The family is the nuclear unit. It's the strongest unit we have. You can always change your job, change your friends, and so on, but you can't change your family. You may have falling outs, but they're still there. So even if you do have a falling out, you can always go back, and people are inclined to accept each other, right? And so that's why it's the strongest deterrent against tyranny, basically, against evil people who want to control us, as happens throughout history. So understanding the family dynamic and having a family dynamic to respect and appreciate is something that's hugely important. Now, how this relates to this video, NBA, Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet has a beautiful family you'd love, kill, or die for, is I was watching a recent episode of Open Gym. Open Gym is an amazing series produced by the Toronto Raptors and Bell Media. And what they do is they've got sort of 15, 20-minute episodes that take you into the lives of your favorite players so you get to know them a little bit better. They take some of the stories from a couple of months earlier in the season, they chop those up into a little narrative, and they take you, where you admire a 5'10" point guard like Fred VanVleet, who's one of the better ones in the NBA. He's probably the best backup point guard in the NBA, and you could easily be a starter on the Raptors or any other team, as he often has been. And you could say, wow, I admire that guy so much. He's for the NBA, not that big a guy, kind of average height, average weight, average build, although with a bit more NBA sort of muscle and athleticism and skill. but I really admire that guy. And so to admire him on the court and then to know a bit more about him and his family is a real treat. And in this particular episode of Open Gym, they go through a bit of Danny Green's history. Danny Green, two guard for the Toronto Raptors, great three-point shooter and defensive player and leader, and overall high basketball IQ, contributes to winning teams, as his plus-minus reflects, because he's got one of the best plus-minuses in the NBA out of 400 players, which means even if he doesn't have a lot of points or a lot of stats, when he's playing with the other guys on the court, the whole team plays better. And because it's consistently, connected to him, he's one of those guys. So you get to learn a bit about Danny Green, and you get the privilege of Mr. Fred VanVleet inviting you into his home to see his beautiful wife and his beautiful baby daughter and a little bit of family time there. And it's not something that you've never seen before. It's just that when it's done really well, it can be really inspiring to see. And in this episode, they talk about how he had a thumb injury and had to have surgery and was out for about 5 weeks. And part of that, not playing, not being part of the team, being out of his normal NBA routine, was driving him crazy. But his family, which he says matured him, and which he says obviously loves to spend time with, and as an NBA player, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So he's often on the road for road games with the Raptors franchise. So then when he comes back, it's like, well, I don't see you every day like many people in normal jobs do. I've got to leave for a couple of days or a few days at a time, possibly even a week at a time, and then I can come back and it's, oh, so glad to see you again. He got to spend a bit more time than normal with his family. And this is Open Gym, presented by Bell, S7E20, Season 7, Episode 20, called Steady. And there it is. And I'm going to play a little bit of this, and I encourage you to see the whole thing. I'll put a link to it below as well. But this is Fred VanVleet's wife talking about how difficult it was for him to not be playing as a competitor. He wants to be there with his team, his career.
Like, how long is it going to be? When are you going to get back?
And then a bit with his family.
I just wanted him to get back to himself. That was like the main thing. So.
Not playing, you kind of can go crazy a little bit. You don't realize how much of a routine you get in until you're not in that routine no more. So, obviously being at home, my family was a great thing for me, just to be able to stay grounded, spend some more time with my daughter, my girl, and they keep you from going crazy. I couldn't imagine being out, whatever it was, 5 weeks and being at home by myself, just alone, my thoughts, and you get bored really fast. And so, they keep you grounded and they keep you focused, and they're there. Obviously, when I first got surgery, my girl's there to take care of me and make sure everything is all right. So it's a huge blessing. What is that? Bubbles!
I was like so happy for him. That was my main concern with him coming back so soon. I was like, is your hand okay? Like, is it, I was questioning him, like, the doctor said it's okay? Like, should you wait a little longer?
And she talks about how she was a bit worried about it. But he did manage to come back and play great. And he's in great shape. He kept his conditioning up. It was a thumb injury, so he could stay on the bike or whatever. And he's looking fantastic. And that little scene right there, about half the episode, or not half, I'd say about a quarter of the episode. So a good 5, 6, 7 minutes, quarter to a third of the episode, is just showing Fred and his family in a beautiful domestic situation where you get this guy, multimillionaire, NBA ball player, could be taking his 2-year, $18 million contract and be like, hey, I'm trying to spend it all on booze and hookers and DM some hot girls on Instagram, sitting there bored, taking pictures of themselves, say, come on over here and have sex with me. You might think, yeah, that's what I'd want to do with a lot of money and this and that and whatever. But instead, you get a perfect, picturesque, idyllic look at his family life, not unlike many other families. I'm not saying it's unusual. I'm saying it's exemplary. So for people out there with their own families, their own kids, and so on, this is something that can inspire you. For people that don't have families and kids, this is something you can still appreciate, maybe aspire to, or at least help protect as something you want to see where you live in your culture and in your community. There's people that want to attack the family. There's people that are sort of communistic and subversive in nature that have been working for the last 50, 60 years as part of certain Marxist groups and so on, that say, we have to destroy the nuclear family. It's been holding us down. The nuclear family's been oppressing women. The nuclear family's been screwing people up. It's like, no. All of that is crap. And when there's bits and pieces of propaganda floated out there to make you think that what you're doing in a beautiful family-like way is not a good thing, it's not exciting, it's this and that and so on, then this is something that can help counteract that. And part of that as well is what Fred talked about, or Mr. Van Vleet talked about, which is I have my girl, my beautiful daughter, and my girl taking care of me, and that sense of ownership, right? In the sense that, men want girls, and girls want to be somebody's girls, right? And women like, big, strong men, and men like cute, fun girls, and men want to be big, strong men, and girls want to be cute, fun girls. In the general sense. Doesn't mean you can't all be a doctor or a lawyer or fly a spaceship or all that crap. It's not limiting people. It's how you feel comfortable with people so that you can reach your potential, right? And and that's in an individual relationship, and then generally where you live, right? These are our Canadian girls. We take care of our Canadian girls. If our government's going to be stupid and let in way too many migrants who are not going to assimilate with a cucked up culture that doesn't protect itself, and then are going to rob, rape, and murder us, or have grooming gangs or child sex and prostitution gangs where they take lonely young girls age 8 to 12, 13, 14, and they lure them, and then they, sell them into child prostitution, where older, radical migrant men, certain Pakistani Muslim men, for example, and others, not all, but you can't say, you shouldn't talk about them at all when there are some bad ones among them, just like any other group, in England are actually running these gangs. If they were, these are all English girls, like Tommy Robinson says, you can't do this to all English girls. You can't just come to this country a couple of years ago and you can't just show up here and say, yeah, we're going to take all your English girls and we're going to use them like toilet paper. We're going to use them, we're going to rape them, and then once we're all done raping them and they're all used up, then we're going to kill them and we're going to throw them in the river. You can't do that to all girls, right? And so, there are girls, because men want girls, and girls want to be somebody's girls. That doesn't mean anybody can do anything to anyone they want. It's not about power over people. It's about empowering people. It's you are safe. I have power, and I can use that power to disempower you, or I can use that power to empower you. And that's the idea, is that you use that to empower them. Because once they know, oh, I'm your girl? Yeah? Okay, well then I can do this and that, and I can do this and that, and don't think I don't have power. I've got more power over more power, Mr. Man. Now I know you seem like you're so busy and you want to do this and that and you want to look up crazy stuff on the internet and talk crazy stuff on the internet, but can't we just settle in and watch a movie and cook dinner tonight, and I'll make it so much fun? And then oh, beautiful, powerful woman, powerfully persuade me with your beauty and power and grace. Sure, no problem, right? So men are powerful. And women have more power over that power. Not ultimate power over that power, but more power over that power, and they can flex like that. And that's ultimately what they like, right? They like having more power over more power. And I wouldn't say that's expressly laid out in this video, but it's implicit as part of their family dynamic, where he feels like he's got to be cool, and he's got to make sure everybody's cool. And then when everybody's like, really? That's how you feel, dude? Then we're cool. Then we'll make you happy. We'll make us happy. We'll make you happy. That's how it works. And with the attacks on the family out there, and the attacks on gender and gender roles and so on, this makes it a lot harder to do. So this is a beautiful example of that. And there's shots of Fred VanVleet blowing bubbles with his baby and doing little goofy things and making it look really cool. And his wife, or his girlfriend, or his fiance, or whatever they're doing, she looks like she's pregnant again, and she's having another kid, and she talks about how Fred's an amazing father, better than she could have ever hoped for. Now imagine your girl says that about you, if you're a guy there and you're married. It's like, can you imagine your wife says that about you? In some cases they do, obviously. And you say, man, my girl's better than I ever hoped for. And if you're a woman out there, imagine your man says that about you. If you're a man out there, imagine if your woman says that about you. That's got to make you feel fantastic, right? Now, there's a bunch of cultural attacks on us that keep that from happening on a regular basis, and videos like this can help us deal with that by giving us an amazing example of a beautiful home and family life that to appreciate, either to appreciate just because it's a beautiful thing to appreciate, or to emulate if you have a family of your own, and to remind you basically of how cool it is, because you might be like, wife, oh, the kids, well, look, if you're going to act like a bitch who's not worth respecting, then you're not going to get enough respect to have a beautiful wife and kid, right? So that's first and foremost, right? If you can act like a bitch, or a bitch's bitch who makes more bitches who make more bitches, or let your wife or kids act like a bitch, make you their bitch's bitch, and you all become bitches and bitches who make more bitches, with professional lying bitches in the media, bitching about things, who make more bitches, or bitching on Twitter and social media, this sucks, this sucks. Here's a little sentence fragment, this sucks. So here's a little sentence fragment in my messed up frowny face, this sucks. If you do that, then obviously not, right? Obviously not. And if your family tests you a bit, if your woman tests you a bit, or if your child tests you a bit, that is them looking to see where the borders are, where the boundaries are of what is acceptable behavior, and how strong you are to reinforce those borders. Little kids do it, when they get older. Little kids will touch your face or whatever, and they'll do anything, grab anything, go here, and you've got to say, oh, no, that's okay, no, that's not okay, yep, that's okay, no, that's not okay, and that's how they learn. And women, to a different degree, they shouldn't make a habit of this, like you shouldn't make a habit of treating them badly, they shouldn't make a habit of treating you badly, but occasionally, they'll give you shit just to see if you are the shit, as one podcaster and pundit said. His name slips my mind right now. I should quote him better. But sometimes they'll bust your balls just to make sure you have balls, right? And so if they're going to be bitchy for no reason, bark, yank, spank, or most importantly, timeout. Just beneath me, right? I've been watching a Raptors game with girlfriends from the past, and my girlfriend sits down beside me, and she's just slumped over in a grumpy, bitchy mood. Right? But I can't figure out why. She's not approaching me like she's really upset with a problem. She's just being unforgivably fussy as opposed to forgivably fussy. Right? So I just, gone. It's beneath me. Right? I got to cut you or I got to cut you off. So I cut you off. Right? And she sees that. She goes, I can't just be a total bitch while you're enjoying the game. It's like, no. Then I'll be a total asshole and I'll beat the shit out of this bitch verbally, not physically. But verbally, if you want to really fight with a man for no reason, then that man will act like a man. It'll be a real bad fight, right? Nothing physical, nothing like that. Nothing, no abuse, nothing. But if you want to pick a fight with a guy for no reason, that's crazy, right? He's going to fight like a man. So what does my girlfriend do? And she slumps away and she bounces off and track pants, her bum is shaking in her track pants and she stomps off and goes to fold laundry or does whatever she does, right? And I'm like, best both of us could hope for, right? She's like, if I act like a bitch, will he be a bitch's bitch or will he be a man? It's like, nope, gonna be a man. Fine. Then you don't care. Best thing that could have happened, right? She's just being flaky. Right? She doesn't care. She's like, at least we avoided more shit. and I know he's a man, and we didn't argue, so who cares? It's nothing, right? It happens, and it's over. Who cares, right? Now, with guys encouraged to act like bitches or bitchy ugly girls, and girls and kids have to sort of put up with and act like them, all of that is being attacked. And that's why this video is so important, to show you an idea of a strong, happy, healthy, nuclear family to sort of appreciate and emulate. And even more recently with this sort of culture, a girl I was dating, a little while ago in the last few months or year or something, same thing, just unforgivably fussy. We're just drinking glasses of wine at the kitchen table, and she's just in a bitchy, grumpy mood. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to check email. And she was lying. She was like, what? I thought you said we're going to have a good time, but we're not having a good time. She goes, yes, we are. I'm like, no, we are not. I said, I'm going to go and check email. I'll be back in 10 minutes, right? And I left, went up to my room, checked email, just played with my computer for a bit, came downstairs in 10 minutes. And then she wasn't being annoying and determined to be bitchy and annoying or whatever. She was just being a little sulky. Cute, sulky, she's got some pride, whatever. But she wasn't trying to bust my balls. She was just being, well, I'm not happy about this, and I'm a cute girl, and hope you should be nice to me, So, of course, you smile. Like, okay, no big deal. You got some pride. You're not trying to bust my balls. You just aren't happy that happened. And so, since I was a kid, girls make me smile since I was a kid. I've got a song about it at manforwars.com you can find in the music section. And shows you how all that works. And so they always make me smile, right? And so I smiled, right? And then she was like, okay, good. And she's like, okay, well, now guess what, buddy? I'm the most fun that you're going to have all friggin' day. So don't be a jerk. You got that? You have to go to work? Meh. You hang out with this douchebag? Meh. You got to do this? Meh. Me? Me? Your girl? Pfft. More fun than anything you'll do today. All right? And I was like, yes, dear. Yes, dear. No problem. More fun than anything I'll do today. I got it. No problem, honey. Just no problem. No problem, sweetie. Totally fine, right? So, that's an example of how that works. Anyway, I wanted to make that point clear because it's bigger than just, a sort of a generic surface appreciation of these things. Having a deeper appreciation of these things and respecting each other enough to discuss these sorts of things with each other, like your people who respect each other, not just snarky, bitchy blurts of information online on social media, but people who carry themselves with self-respect, who love themselves enough to be lovable and to love other people. All of that is exceptionally important because all of that is under attack and all of that is making it harder to talk, where you can have families that barely interact with each other, barely talk with each other, see the whole thing as a burden, that they're under, and then get on the internet and snark and bitch and snark and bitch, and then get off the internet and snark and bitch and snark and bitch and sketch and bitch, and it's just a mess, right? And so for Toronto Raptors fans and Fred Van Vleet fans and other fans and so on, this is a great example of a way to appreciate this Open Gym episode if you haven't seen it yet, and so I recommend you do, and I'll put a link to it below. Anyway, my thoughts on it, again, NBA Toronto Raptors, Fred Van Vleet has a beautiful family you'd love, kill, or die for. Based on what you can see in this video, it'd certainly be nice to have your own version, or even if you don't want to have your own version, to appreciate that as being a nice thing to do and be happy for all of them. And so that's a good thing to be able to appreciate. If you can't appreciate that, you're just a dick. You're just a jerk. You're just messed up. And that's something that you've got to deal with as opposed to make other people put up with. You should have pretty pride, confident, happy pride, instead of, miserable, ugly attitude, which is more being promoted today. And so hopefully this can help with that. Anyway, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Feel free to support the manforwars.com efforts. I need money, power, and respect to push these ideas further to help win the offline Infowar. PayPal and direct deposit link donations before, and I'll add to that. And feel free to get in touch with any questions or answers or to work together and so on. Because if we can make sure that people where we live can locally discuss many of the great things they find online, offline, they can locally discuss and share them, then we'll all be better for it wherever we live. And there you have it. BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.